Hey there, and welcome to No Recipe Required. Hope you're doing well. I'm Dave, and tonight I've got another soup for you. I absolutely love this soup. It's a corn chowder. We're going to use some fresh vegetables. Obviously, corn when it's in season in summer, it's absolutely perfect. Chowders, they have cream in them. We're going to use some cream. They've got some potatoes in there. We're going to do that too. Really simple soup to make. You can have it done in about 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start making our chowder. I've got some corn chowder for you tonight. There I've got 2 strips of pretty thick bacon. That's actually a fair amount of bacon, so we're going to go with a pretty big bowl of soup here. I added a little bit of olive oil to just get it started. I'm going to cook this over medium-high heat until the bacon is cooked down into lardons, and then we'll start adding our mirepoix, other vegetables. So once my bacon has sauteed off and gotten crispy, I'm going to go ahead and add my mirepoix. I had carrots, onions, and celery there, and I took a little bit more time to dice them nicely than I normally do for, say, a pureed soup, because we're not going to puree this soup, and I don't want, grossly different size pieces of carrot in there, onions, things like that. So I add those. I'm going to give it a little salt, give it a little pepper. We're going to wait until the onions turn translucent, and then we will come back. After my onions have become translucent, I've got a little bit of oregano there that I'm gonna add and then drop the lid on. About the same amount of time, both dried. Give those just a quick little stir. Now, some people add flour to a chowder. By all means, you can do it. I'm not going to, at least not on this version. Now would be the time I would do it, and then let that flour kind of cook. Stir it every once in a while for 5 minutes. That essentially gives you a roux. Instead, I'm going to skip that step. I'm going to add some diced potatoes. I'm using those little red new potatoes. And then I'm just going to cover that with chicken stock. Cover it at least a few inches tall, a few inches above the vegetables. And I'm going to let the potatoes just kind of cook in there. And before they get tender, we're going to come back and add our corn and let the corn cook. The corn, it's only going to cook. It's fresh corn. I'm just chopping it right off the cob. It's only going to take about 6 or 7 minutes to cook. Certainly not as long as the potatoes. So my potatoes are just getting tender. So I'm going to add my corn. This is probably a cup and a half maybe. And like I said, it's only going to take 5 or 6 minutes to cook. And right when I add that as well, I'm going to add cream. I've got about half a pint here. And we'll see how that does. I may end up coming back and adding a little bit more. We'll see. But I'm just going to let this now simmer for another 5 minutes or so until that corn gets nice and tender. Okay, so after just a few minutes the corn is cooked. You want to make sure you give it a nice taste for salt and pepper, which I just did. And this one's right on, so we are good to go. Let's go ahead and serve it up. Okay, so once you give your chowder a final taste, serve it up in a bowl, obviously. Plate would be a little bit awkward. You can garnish it with a little bit of parsley, some croutons, anything you want, but I think it's just perfect as is. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.